Did I get it? Last slurp.
Excuse me.
How many people have been... Oh, stop just a second. I just need to take it in. I just want to just connect. So good to see you here. Oh, there's so much loving hearts here and so many wonderful people. I don't know what I'd do without you. You're just amazing. So thank you for being you. With that said, how many people have had a lot of drama or crisis over the last few weeks? Holy Hannah! If you haven't, can I come live with you? Some of it may be of my own making, and some of it may not, but good grief, there's just a lot of stuff going on. Everybody in crisis. So, for today, I thought, I need to teach people how to fight fair, how to fight spiritually. I thought, not yet. Not yet. Something else I need you to know first. And so I thought, I'm not sure what that is. So I slept on it. So this morning I was just waking up. And I heard R&R, which means rest and relaxation. And then I heard 4 more R words. And I thought, oh, how cool. That's a great inspiration. Sat up and put my sweatpants on, a sweater on, and they were gone. I thought, okay, they'll be back. So I just started writing some of the R words that we're familiar with and how they can be spiritually applied. So rest and relaxation. Bill and I took last Sunday and we played hooky. And we went out to breakfast, went home and took a nap. And we got up and had lunch, and then we took a nap. And then we did something else I can't remember. I think we just stared out into space in the backyard, and then we took a nap. And then we went to bed. It was lovely. So, rest and relaxation. So R&R, we got that. Then there's reading, writing, and arithmetic. All right, before I go into that one, let's have a moment of silence for all those teachers in the room and their last few days before school starts again. How many teachers do we have in the room? There's a whole row up here. There's some back here. Oh, the driver. You drive the kids. Okay. And your students. Okay. So we all have a moment of silence. A moment. So, reading, writing, and arithmetic. So those R's are all about, have a spiritual application too. So read spiritual things. Or whatever you're reading, find a spiritual value for it. Okay? Because what we ingest, you are what you eat, well, you are what you ingest. Spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. Writing. Blog something. Journal something. Write about it. As they say in AA, write about it and call your sponsor. Don't call your sponsor first, write about it first. Because if you're just going to call your sponsor and just, you're whining, so don't do that. So writing is good. Arithmetic, add it up. Balance out the situation. What about this? What about that? Find a balance in that. Rinse, recycle, and reuse. You love it? Rinse. We need to rinse out the crud. And I don't know about you, but crud happens. Where's that bag, Phil? Crud happens. Recycle. Do it again. Use it again. Energy is one of those things that is eternal and non-exhaustive. Now, with that said, anger is a non-sustainable energy source. If I'm mad about something, my energy goes, and I can do stuff. That's how you used to clean the house. Get pissed off. This was before Phil. This is with the other one. And so I'd get mad and clean the house really fast. And then I'd be so tired. and I couldn't do anything until I got mad again. And I'd have to get mad about something new. And then the adrenaline would rush, and then I'd have that surge, and then I could get some stuff done. Sustainable spiritual energy is not attached to anger. It's attached to that powerful peace, that serenity, that purposefulness, that awareness that we have. And that is totally sustainable. And the reuse. Do it differently. Do it differently. Use it in a different way. Then I came up with a bunch of other stuff that I thought could be fun. First R word I want you to think about is remember. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. You are a precious child of God. You are. You are. We forget. We think we are what other people tell us we are. We think we are the circumstances that surround us. You are a precious child of God. End of story. Everything else is just stuff. And that's where that poop bag comes in. Next R word, regroup. It's impossible to regroup without the group. So find your pod. Find your fellow podlings. It may not be family. It may not be your work people. But you have podlings. There are people who are of like mind, of like spirit, of light heart. Find them. Seek for them. Release. So you have remember, regroup, and release. Here's the deal with release. We have a policy here at the Divine Fellowship called a 2-minute whine. And if you're having a challenge, an issue, you have 2 minutes to talk about it. Now in 2 minutes, you can give the basics of the situation. If it's longer than 2 minutes, you're whining. It's time to stop. Because what happens is we get into a story. And when we get into a story, you've heard it, I know you have. Somebody will say, oh, this horrible thing happened. And they tell it word for word for word to you. And they'll shift and you think, oh, I'm so sorry. Could you try this or could you try that? Oh yeah, I think I will. And then ship. And they'll go tell this person word for word for word. And then this person might give them advice or give them encouragement. And they'll go tell somebody else. They're in their story. It's a repetitive re-injuring of the soul. Stop. When we are in our truth, there's no pain. Now we all have crap happen. And we all get in a place where God, it just, this happened and it was yucky. And that's okay. 2 minutes. In 2 minutes you can get it out. If you're not crying. You know, you can add extra 30 seconds to get the words out. But no more than that. Because when we're in our story, we're locked and stuck. And we have no usable energy. Because the energy that we're using is that energy that is expended as soon as we tell the story. We blew it out there, and then our energy is down. Well, we don't feel good enough to do anything about it, so we have to tell the story again. It's a sad thing. It's a sad thing. So here's the deal with release. Yes, you may need to have your 2-minute whine. And if somebody's doing a 2-minute whine to you, then they need a poor baby. I have to teach you how to do a poor baby, because this is not a condescending situation, but it is that moment of telling someone, I hear you and I get it. So if I'm telling you, well, somebody hit my car in the parking lot, and you can say, poor baby, someone hit your car in the parking lot. And you say it with genuine sincerity that tells them you are heard, and you can appreciate their difficulty with that. Any more than that, and you're feeding the beast that lies within. The beast that wants to tell their story. Matter of fact, I had a call this last week from a family member. I had to cut him off and say, oh, I can't hear that. I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But you're no longer just telling me the facts. You're wallowing. We need to just cut that back a little bit, because listening to you wallow hurts me. Physically hurts me. So I don't have the option of listening to someone's wallowing. I can have a deep compassion for where they're at. And I can do that with a poor baby, even if I don't use the words poor baby. But I can say, oh, I hear you. That's just really hard for you right now. I hear you. I'm not trying to fix your world. I'm not trying to let you puke your worries on me. But I'm hearing you. I'm holding sacred ground for you while you work something through. Phil did this for me the other day. I had something come up and I was not in a good place about it. And so I told him, did my 2-minute whine thing, and he expressed it back to me and held sacred ground for me while I could walk through it. Because hearing it from his mouth, he reworded it slightly, and hearing it from his mouth, I got it. I got what I needed to learn from that. I got what I needed to hear from that, and I could shift. So it's a powerful thing. A poor baby is not this condescending expression of, I'm better than you are, I don't have any problems. But it is this opportunity to acknowledge what somebody else is experiencing in a way that's loving and supportive. So, how do we release? Well, talking it out is one way. Breathe, move, get up and do something. So embrace the situation. Okay, this happened. We can't just go, la la la, everything's fine. Because it's going to rise its ugly head and bite you in the backside if you're not careful. Because if we do that, it's not gone, it's just hiding back here. And what's the lowest extremity that it might want to chew on? So embrace it, breathe through it, talk it out and walk it out. Do something, move your body. Because sometimes when we get stuck in stuff, or there's a big trauma or emotion or whatever, we get stuck. And the whole energy of being stuck can be broken loose by doing something. Go make cookies. Doesn't mean you have to eat them all. But go take a walk. Go sit in nature. You know, there's other things that can be done. Okay, here's another R word. And these two go together. Refresh and restore. How many people have seen on your computer, oh, the computer needs to refresh this page? Because it got crudded up and it can no longer function. We get crudded up and sometimes we can no longer function. Where's our refresh button? Right there. Refresh and restore. What's one thing you can do? This kind of falls on the heels of walk it out. What's one thing you could do for yourself? Not for the situation, because maybe there's nothing you can do for that situation, but be with it for now. So what's one thing you could do? You could make cookies, you could read a book, you could journal, you could listen to music, you could take a walk in nature. There's lots of things that you could do that will help refresh this physical being and the spirit that resides.
Another R word. I have it. I have the answer. And it's a special deal. All of you really want it. And boy, have I got a deal for you. And especially if you're a YouTube subscriber. Rejuvenate. 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 That's all you got to do. Spray 2 for the price of 1. All you got to do is spray Rejuvenate. I did this 16 years ago, too.
Do you remember that?
Did this. And you know what? The whole place wanted to buy some. The whole congregation wanted to buy some. Because all you got to do, you don't have to do any of this stuff. All you got to do is spray. See? It's done. Don't you feel better? Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice if that's all you had to do?
I feel better straight.
You know, being around Phil can rejuvenate one's soul. Because you never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, that was good.
Here's another R word. After you've rejuvenated, rejoice. Rejoice. Now, it could be worse, is not an expression of joy. Not quite gotten to where you need to be. Take it another step further, if you would, please. Rejoice, and a good book in Philippians says, rejoice, and again I say rejoice. It means it so much it says it twice. So rejoice. Joyce, find your joy again. What makes you happy? What brings happiness out of you? There are external things going on that may make you unhappy, but the happiness lies within. This rejoice is find that again. Find what's in here that is joyful. And often we can do that with two of the most powerful spiritual tools you'll ever acquire: appreciation and gratitude. Those are the two keys. And you know what? The appreciation can be, you can go outside and appreciate a sunset. You got it! And you can take joy in that. And that can revitalize you. Rejuvenate. It can be as simple as that. It can be as simple as that. Repurpose. Phil and I love to go antiquing. And we like to buy things that are supposed to be one thing, and then we repurpose them to do something else. We have in our front room, we have a cobbler's bench that is now our coffee table. It's fun. That's not what it was intended to do, but we have repurposed it for something new. You can repurpose yourself for something new. You can be repurposed. Because sometimes the trauma and drama that happens in our life is to let us know that we're not on the right path, and that we get to shift a bit and repurpose ourselves. There is a Psalms 51:10. I had several things I wanted to share with you, but I want to give you this one. There's a time. Psalms 51:10. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Here's the good news. You're not alone. You don't have to do it yourself. You can ask for divine assistance. You can ask for help. Because sometimes when we get a crushing blow or we get a drama, whatever, it's hard for us to renew ourselves. We know that we can walk outside and appreciate nature. We can have some gratitude, and we can do things that bring us joy. We can journal about it. There's lots of things that we can do, but sometimes we need that extra help. And there is divine assistance available to us. Ask for it. Create in me a new heart, or a clean heart, a clear heart. Which leads me to the most fun thing ever. I have to tell you, I've been a Bible student a long time. Hate to tell you how long. Dates me. And I have read Psalms 23 a lot. And there was something in Psalms that I wanted to share with you. And so I read that verse. And I always try to read the verses ahead and the verses after, because it gets the full picture. Whether I share them with you or not, that's just something I do. So I was reading the entire 23rd Psalm. And I got something I had never gotten before out of it. And I want to share, actually I got two things out of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that makes total sense. So let me walk you through. I'll show you what I got when I got it. Let's start with, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. When you got the shepherd, he's going to walk you to where you need to be for your watering, your sustenance, and all of that. We have a local author, Patricia Briggs. Have you read her stuff? It's fun because, you know, when she talks about Findlay, I know Findlay, I've been there. But it's really fun, and she talks about werewolves being in the Tri-Cities. well, being in the world, but here in the Tri-Cities. And the interesting thing she talks about is that there's the leader of the pack, which leads us to, I'm ahead of myself, sorry. But when you've got a leader of the pack, he'll lead you where you need to be, so you can be, your needs are being met. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures, not like he makes you lay down. But I tell you, when I'm overloaded and stressed, I'll have a nap attack. I've got to lay down because sometimes I don't have sense enough to take care of myself. I'm sure you do though, right? He leads me beside still waters or quiet waters. Sheep can't drink with a running stream. They have to have a cool pool that they can drink from. So a good shepherd will know where to go get that water. He restores my soul. That's the one. He restores my soul. I can be restored. And I can have help with that. That's the initial thing that I came to this passage to share with you. But get this. He guides me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. This is not the big aha, but I want to share the aha. This is an older aha. I grew up with the phrase, spare the rod, spoil the child. So when they come to this passage, they say, the rod is the wrath of God. Hooey, 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 hooey. I say, hooey. The rod was an implement or a tool used to beat off the lions and the wolves, not to beat the damn little sheep. Absolutely. The staff was that walking stick, but it also usually had a crook at the end so he could scoop where he couldn't reach. The staff could reach and drag the sheep out of dangerous areas. Maybe it was too dangerous for him to go, but the little sheep is smaller, weighed less, could get into places where a shepherd couldn't go, but the staff could reach them. They were never out of his reach. You're never out of his reach. And the rod isn't to beat you up if you've not lived to the perfection you think you have to have. It's absolutely, I'm sure. If there's a rod beating you, it's in your own head. Throw the rod away. Throw it away. It's not your job. But here's the aha I got this morning. This has always bothered me. Have you ever had a Bible passage that bothered you? Am I the only one? Apparently not. But this has always bothered me. Thou dost prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Now that just didn't seem right to me. It's never seemed right to me. I've got something in you don't have. That just doesn't seem spiritual. Why would God withhold something from them and give it to me? It just didn't fit for me. Oh, but if you look at God being the pack leader, I'm under his protection. His rod and his staff are there to protect me. And if I'm under that protection, then I don't have to suck up to anybody. I don't have to be a people pleaser. Because my sustenance, my wherewithal does not rely upon that person liking me. All I care about is if that guy likes me. He, she, we, he, it, they, all that they are. Whatever term works for you. Don't you love it? Freedom. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. That one got me too. What the heck does that mean? And yeah. I had just, done some research, and when your head is anointed with oil, in the Old Testament, that was the mark of leadership. I thought, well, still didn't get it. Bing! Today I got it. We are our own self-authority. We are our own self-authority. Not only do I not have to suck up to anybody, I don't have to be afraid of anybody. But I'm my own authority. It's my choice. If I want to stay wrapped up and stuck in being upset, I get to. But you only have 2 minutes. I mean, you can do it as long as you want, but in front of me it's only 2 minutes. My cup overflows. And with that, here's the last line, with that, surely goodness and loving kindness will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I'm a part of the pack. I'm protected. I'm safe. I can flourish. I don't have to kiss up. I don't have to make other people like me. I get to walk a sacred path. And I get to do that with confidence and self-authority. Don't you love it? Thank you. Oh! Mr. Phil. Come on down. Rejuvenate yourself and get on up here.